Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I have an old vehicle computer here. This is a 1997 Jaguar XK8 convertible. It's a 4.0 liters engine, and the customer concern is, well, I'll show you the paperwork shortly, but it says voltages on the sensors above 5 volts, throttle body, pedal position sensor, and other components. So I have everything connected and ready. As you see, I got the computer open, and you'll see more in the auto capture. So let me move you here. I have what at first really threw me off, and this is very important to add in the comments before you send the computer, because this is a junkyard computer or a used computer, and I understand. I mean, it's hard to get computers. I don't know what happened with the original one, but yeah, this is, at least it is for the same vehicle. And you can see the stickers are still attached. Some seals that were on the computer were already tampered, but somebody already attempted to do repairs onto these boards, and that is where I stop myself sometimes, because I get into somebody else's problems, right? Like I mentioned so many times, right? But I understand the customer. I understand these are very, very hard to get. There is very few repair facilities that I will probably count with half of my hand that I can really address, that they are, at least decent. And the majority of auto repair facilities are just butchers. They're, they don't care. They just try to, replace whatever they can find, blown or suspect, and seal it. They sandblast the computer and they paint it or whatever, so you don't open it, you think it's repaired, but the realistically scenario when you open the computer is it's just a destroyed board. Not the case in here. I cannot say that whoever works on these did a bad repair, and that's why I went and helped him. His name is Don Moore from let me just see what's his address. Give me 1 second. That is in, let me see, I think it was Massachusetts, which is, yeah, it's in Boston, Massachusetts. So yes, we are definitely, not too far away. So give me 1 second. Yeah, Massachusetts, just to make sure that I'm not giving you wrong information. And then, well, it's very hard to find another computer like this one here. So let me take you over to his folder. As I normally do, I created a folder for each customer that gets here. This is so you can read with me. This is, again, a closer picture. I always say call this collect data, because I don't want to have any problems later. And all right, so we can read here on his writing: voltages above 5 volts, a throttle body, pedal position sensor, and other components. 5.0, naturally aspirated, no key added with the vehicle. I'm going to move along so we can see the connectors look pretty clean. The board, and this is where I was going to sit. Somebody was here. You can see these capacitors are not original, not a bad quality. They're good quality. I didn't really solder properly here or clean the board properly. And this is, the back. We can see, some of the repair being done in here. And obviously I corrected all that because it was not the best repair, not the worst I have seen. The board is in good condition as far as the rest. It was hard for me to find parts because when I connected this board, there is no more pictures in there. When I connected this board, the fiber reference was going up to 12 volts. I'm like, wow. So yeah, that is definitely not good. So with other vehicle, I was very hard to find information, but I did find it. So I created, as I normally do. This is the computer on the top, and each connector, because we will go over to the original wiring diagrams. They're black and white, but at least was able to collect all the grounds, and all the grounds, believe it or not, they're separate internally in the board. So, and the reason of this is these Jaguars, they provide ground even through the ignition switch. So it's a very different setup, very different way of, I don't know, of connections, right? But do have powers and grounds and communication. As you see, it uses 4 wires that needs to be connected in order to talk to the scanner. EM, and again, connectors EM 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15. As we saw in the pictures, right? So there is 2 white connectors on the left side. There are smaller size, and then the rest are grayed out or gray connectors, and it is exactly the computer, right? So I did all these pins like this, and I put, an EM10, pin 13, 12, DLC 7 and 15, and then CAN bus high and low, and pins 27 and 28. Since I'm not connected in the car, I needed to add a resistor in order for the scanner to talk. I'm using the Snap-on SUS Plus, and I'm using the Jaguar 2000 because there is no 1997 selection unless I go over the open or over the direct. And I don't want to do that because I need to see more data. Well, I thought so, right? So, but I was able to connect. Didn't read the bin. No way to read the bin. Fiber reference. We have 2 fiber reference pins in here, 10 and 21. Sorry, an EM connector 10. I'm just going to refer to the connectors with the last number 10, 11, 12, and 13, 14, right? So we can see 10, 11, 12, 13, 15, and 14, which is kind of weird because they're and it start to come in order. They named this one 15. I don't know why they ever do that, but well, it is like that. And then we got a sensor ground and connector 10 pin 20 and 11 pin 12. I forget. I don't know if I said, but fiber reference and connector 10 pin 21 and connector 11 pin 8. And then I have the signals that he is more concerned about, which is the throttle position sensors 1 and 2. In accelerator pedal sensors 1 and 2. I have a multimeter. If we go, well, actually before we go there, let me just go in order like that where I don't lose the side of what I wanted to show you. I have actually the wire diagrams ready to go here. I got the color wire diagrams just to confirm CAN bus and CAN low, because going into the network diagram the Jaguar give us, if we see here, let me get something so you can see where I'm actually at in the screen. So right here is the engine control module. We have pin 10, pin 12, and 13. They go over to the DLC. This is the DLC connector, and to pins 15 and 7. There is also another engine control module in here, right? But it says clearly right here, this is just for programming, so I'm not even connected on those. This is pins 12 and 13 on the DLC. Those are usually for flash and program your computer. There is no other. Oh, actually, never mind. It is in here. I didn't see this. Actually, yeah, I missed that part. But it is engine control module here. So pin 27 and 28, if we follow that, is CAN low and CAN high, and then go over to pin 6 and 14 on the DLC. It doesn't show any of the terminator resistors, but without the terminator resistor, the computer was not communicated. So I actually missed this part up here. I didn't see that, and that's what I have the color one, which is actually correct. I'm going to again get all those circles. Because here, right here, we got the engine control module, and we have communications on pin 27 and 28 going over to the gear selector, then to the instrument pack, and then on its way to the data link connector, which is exactly what we have there. And also we have on this side, let me just see where that is. Right here. We have in here pin 12 and 13. Which is going over to pin 7 and then the pin 15, as I mentioned. So this color wire diagram is correct. I'm going to close this one so we don't have it no more. The computer diagram, there is 2 different naturally aspirated, which is right here. Let me again get one of those boxes because the mouse disappears on the PDF file. So right here is a AJ26 engine with a naturally aspirated or naturally aspirated. There is also, if I scroll down in here, we have also the AJ26 raw. I'm not really sure what that means. I was looking for information and I couldn't really find, maybe that is for supercharged or not, but I was not able to really get that information. So if you know about that, please let me know in the comments so I can share that, and you can share that with all of us. All right, but yeah, going into the connections, at least I love this from Jaguar, even though it's a black and white diagram, and you cannot really, it's hard to follow the tracks when they're all the same color and everything. But they have marked B plus in here, so these are all the powers. And then we can see the grounds. All these in here are grounds, so I can, that's how I got them into my page. And then you can follow here the throttle position sensors right here. Sorry, this is the throttle position sensors and the pedal or accelerator pedal position sensors. There are, let me make this a little smaller. These are the two pedal position sensors, so they are actually tied together, one wire and tied together with the other wire. So we can follow this wire here and then this wire here. And then that's how I found, what it was. There is also another good page that I grab. Let me just find it in here. All figure pinouts. Let me just see. And you manage pinout charts. I think it's this one. Yeah, if we go over to figure 401, which is exactly where we are, right? So if we go back to this, we can see it at the corner on the right side right here, figure 04.1. So you got to find the readings or descriptions of the pinouts, and that was in a separate page. And this is only because I found this through Identifix, so it's not like if you are working in the dealer, they will be on the same document. But yeah, I got the figure 0.41, and I found all this. This is nice because it tells me that connector 10, pin 1 is an ignition supply, pin 5 is an ignition supply, pin 9 is a battery supply, CAN network in 25, 26, 27, 28, and it tells you which are those for. It tells me which one is the TPS reference voltage, which is in pin 11.8. And that's one of the 5-volt reference, remember, that I have in here. If we go back to this picture, the 5-volt reference that I found is in pin 10, pin 21, and then connector 10, pin 21, and connector 11, pin 8. So if we go back to here, connector 10, pin 21, we can see right here where it says mechanical guard position sensor, pedal position sensor, throttle position sensor, common reference voltage. So it's one 5-volt reference for all of those. And then if we go over to the 11.8, right here, right where I am, it says the same thing. Mechanical guard, pedal position sensor, TPS, reference voltage, reference voltage. And then I follow all that, and that's how I found everything. And I do or corroborate that everything is correct. So right now, if we go back to here, I'm going to put the meter and also the SUS in the screen. Let me get that better, so because it's overlapping, right? All right, so right now I have 5-volt reference, sensor grounds. 5-volt reference and sensor ground. The one I'm connected right now, let me just double check that 1 second with you guys. So this is going to be is in connector 11. So we are pretty much in 11.8. Let me just see. Yeah, and pin connector 11 and pin 8. So that's a 5-volt reference that we are checking, or you can see now working. I have not connected my lead because I'm going to supply or change the signals on the throttle position sensors and on the accelerator pedal sensors now that I repair the computer. But before I do the connections, I want you to see on the screen that the track 2 on the throttle position sensors is reading 5 volts. And that is good because those sensors are sending a signal over to be pulled down by the same potentiometer inside the valve body. But with the open circuit, is reading 5 volts. The pedal position sensors, in the other hand, they're not. They're 0. So those are just an opposite of the throttle position sensor. It's waiting for the fiber reference to go through the sensor in order back to the computer to read that signal. And I have the fault codes, but let's just start in order. So I'm going to connect into, I'm not sure which one is, but this is one of the throttle position sensors. So let's connect into that. Okay, the throttle position sensor that says track 2 sensor, the bottom one, right? So I'm going to actually open that so we can see that when I'm changing it better. So right now it's in 3.2. I'm going to move it down so you can see that change, and I'm going to go up. It's a little slow refresh rate because, I mean, this is almost an OVD computer. Sorry, an OVD1 computer. But we can see how it can go up 4.6, and I'm going to go down. So how is that signal all the way to the computer? It's good, right? Again, very slow refresh rate. I can go down from there. And we can see that. So that is the first one on the throttle position sensors. I'm going to do the next one. Hope you see I'm in a yellow connector in here. So I'm going to move that one now to pin 11. And I'm in connector, let me see which connector. I think I'm in connector 11. Yeah, in connector 11. So that was pin 10. So I'm going to go over to pin 11. Those are the throttle position sensors. And now you can see how these now jump immediately to fiber reference. So I can close this one and I'm going to open the other one. So this went from 5 volts to 1.2. And that's exactly what I'm reading in here. So I'm going to go up and we can see the response immediately on the scanner. And then I can go down and I'm going to go lower than the 1.2, but we can see the response. So again, that computer signal all the way to the microprocessor is working perfectly. All right, so I'm going to disconnect now from the throttle position sensor because I want to use that same wire, that same thing. So I'm going to go over to pin 20, no, 20, let me just see. I think it's 15. Yeah, pin 15, which is now in a green wire here, or a green terminal. And we're going to see which one that will change. All right, so we can close that. And the pedal position sensor, I'm going to open both pedal position sensors so we can see that that is just a 0 to 0.2, so nothing is in there. But the pedal position track 2, it changed. So I'm going to go up. You can see that change immediately in there. And I'm going to go down. Again, it's a slow refresh rate. That's a very old computer. That's just the way it is. And that is only in the diagnostics. As far as the internal communication, the computer will be able to pick up that quick. But the process over to the scanner is really slow. But so we're good in there. So I'm going to keep this in like a 1 volt. Like that. You see when I unplug it, I'm going to move over to the next signal, which is in a white wire here on my desk. We can see how that dropped. And now let's look at this, the one it has like on the left side of the screen now, that is kind of like up and down and up and down. It's just because the voltage range. But as soon as I plug this in, we can see how that one changed from 0 to 1 volt. And now I can go up. And we can go down. And I can go down to 0. You see that? And I'm going to go over again to 1 volt. Just to disconnect the signals. Well, realistically, I don't really need to, because now we need to do the next thing is that I want to do is I actually can disconnect these wires from here, or this wire. So we did the test. The next thing that I want to check is the other fiber reference, right? So we are in pin 8. I would like to go over to connector 10, which is the first one here. And I want to go over to pin 21, which is the other fiber reference. So I'm going to do that. So I got to be careful because everything is connected. So I'm going to remove all these terminals that I put here. Yeah, so nothing is hanging, because even though they're nice and tight, They're the exactly size pins for this computer. I want to remove extra hanging wires in there because, as you can see, I got all these are terminal blocks, all for grounds right here. You can see that. So those are okay because they're all grounds. But I'm going to move the 5-volt reference, so keep an eye on the meter right next to the scanner that says 5-volt right now. I'm going to disconnect this. It should go to 0. And right now we got 0 volts, right? So perfect. Now I'm going to go over to pin 21 on the first connector. Let me put my glasses. Pin 21. A little hard to get. Not connected yet. Not sure if I'm getting there. Very dark for me here. Age and losing your vision is not the best, right? Am I in there? Yep. I gotta be careful with those grounds. The computer. Well, what is the reading, right? So right now we are in connector 10. I'm gonna move this out of the way so I can get better out of zoom or focus. But how is the other 5-volt reference now done? Perfect. So we got 5.07. That is a perfect 5 volts, no longer 12 volts, which was definitely, and it was up, going up to 12 volts. And it was almost giving me a chore because when I first connected the computer, it was drawn almost 6 amps. So I'm like, at first I didn't want to record, and I should have recorded that part before doing the repairs. But I said, you know what? And I sent Dawn a text and I said, I hope this is not a waste of my time because of this, right? Being a junkyard computer that somebody already tried to repair. I'm like, so that's what I didn't start because I'm like, I don't want to go and do the same thing, another used computer from somebody else's attempt to repair. So, but this is at least, luckily for Don, a successful repair. And his computer is ready to go. All right, so if you have one of these ones, now I have mapped out the entire board. I have spent time looking for capacitors and diodes and voltage regulators, injector drivers, ignition drivers. So, and I know there is a lot of people that hold these vehicles because they're very beautiful. I mean, this is a convertible Jaguar. The Jaguar is a Jaguar. As long as you keep it in good shape, suspension and everything are not that expensive. But they're always very beautiful vehicles, and I know that Don is now going to be able to enjoy this vehicle back. I'm not sure how many miles or anything it has, but looking at pictures that I see, I think the car is in very good shape. It's a black Jaguar convertible, and hopefully he can get his computer back very soon and enjoy his vehicle back. If you're here in the channel, please don't forget to subscribe. I also encourage all my customers, please, if I have helped you by any way or repair your computers and you want to help my business, a review will be the best way you can do that. If you're here and you have not sent anything, subscribing to my channel, you helping me already a lot. And thank you so much for that. I will see you next time. Bye-bye.